What is good, YouTube family? Back with another video. Today I'm going to be walking you through how to properly journal your trades as a day trader. Now, some people may disagree and say that it's not necessary, but I've been brought up to actually journal my trades, and I'm going to show you the benefits of doing so and why it's important, especially as a beginner, to go back through your mistakes and don't just record your wins, which a lot of people do. Now, from my experience, the best learning curve is going to be analyzing your own trades, because you're going to see the flaws as well as the things that you do well. Now, it needs to really be as thorough and as detailed as possible when you are recording your trades, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it with the software that I use to actually record this stuff. Now, before I get into the video, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys already if you have actually locked in. If you want access to my free community as well, the link is in the description to do so. Let's get into this video. Right, guys, so before I get into showing you my trades, I want to kind of speak on some of the details that need to be included in trading and why it's actually beneficial in the long run to actually journal your trades. Okay, now when it comes to actually using your own data in live in the field and when you're taking trades, only you are going to know the reasons why you're actually entering. Right now, when you actually have a track record of recording each trade that you take, hopefully there's not 20, 30, 40 trades that you're taking per week. Now, scalpers might be against what I'm trying to say. They might say that that's working out for them, but I'm a day trader. Okay, so I'm speaking to those that want to do trading the right way, in my opinion. That's basically understanding each trade that they take and the reasons for those trades that they take. Okay, there needs to be an understanding for why you got into the trade, the time that you got into the trade, and your reasons overall as to why you thought it was a buy or why you thought it was a sell, excuse me. So a lot of people skip the steps because journaling can be labeled boring. It might be repetitive. It might be, some people don't find value in it. But in my opinion, I feel like if you're journaling properly, it's very difficult to not find value in it. So how I record my trades is through a software called Notion. Okay, now Notion, for me, I haven't really swayed from it. It's never really failed me. It's something that I feel like is it's detailed enough, and it has the features enough, in terms of just, it's not going to show you a metric or a graph, but in terms of just recording your trades, it's going to be better for you to kind of, hopefully on a Sunday, or when the market is closed, is when you're going to journal your trades and just be as thorough as possible to go back through each entry that you took and the reasons for it. Okay, now don't just record your wins. You want to record every trade you take, and win or loss, because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to go back through the painful moments of maybe they lost a lot of money in the trade, and they don't really want to revisit that, and they want to kind of bury that and move forward. Now, I'm here to tell you guys, I used to do that as well. That in the long run is not a benefit to you, because you actually want to learn from your mistakes. And again, if you go back through these trades, you are going to learn for the next time what you did right, and again, if you took a loss, what you did wrong. So going back through each trade that you've taken, try and be as thorough as possible. It could be Euro USD, it could be whatever pairs you like to trade, right? You just want to kind of have a real understanding of your reasons for taking a trade, what exactly was going on, and so forth, right? So GBP USD, after price started. So again, let me just get into the Notion before I start reeling it off, really. So with the tags, why Notion is great is because you can create wins and losses. You can put the date in. It doesn't have to be on the date that you took the trade, but you want to kind of record as and when. So if you're waiting for the week to be over to then go back, you can do it as such, right? But then in terms of like taking a screenshot of the trading view of what your setup actually was, which is great, you're going to have evidence of why you thought the trade was going in the direction it was going in, basically. So it's really important to do that, guys. If you don't do that, then you're going to kind of be stuck on not really getting better and kind of plateauing in terms of your skill development. Right now, I'm still learning to this day. So you're never, when it comes to trading and being real consistent at trading, it's a never-ending process. You should still be willing to learn, and again, what better data to learn from than your own? Okay, it's really important to understand that. So going into this trade, okay, you're gonna have the pictures, you're gonna have your reasoning, and then what you understand is when you develop that habit of journaling, you actually are taking pictures, and your brain is memorizing what it is that you were seeing on the chart. Okay, and that's good for the next event for when those conditions may be similar or exactly the same sometimes as well. So why I'm saying that you want to build this repetition up is it's about discipline, guys. Everything that you do in your routine is going to affect your performance. So am I saying journaling is going to make you 10 times a better trader? I wouldn't say 10 times, but I do think it's going to have a real good impact on your development from a positive perspective. It's not gonna harm you to journal your trades, right? It's really not gonna harm you. Now, why I feel like journaling is important, I feel like a lot of people are not journaling correctly and they're not really adding the detail, or I still get students that reach out to me and they send me charts and it will be one chart and one sentence of a trade that they took. And I'm like, there's so many more things that I know you could include in this, but it's like, I don't know if you're being lazy or you're just trying to send me something to get an opinion, or maybe you don't want to be as thorough or dig into the nitty gritty of it to maybe cut yourself some slack, not be hard on yourself, or kind of avoid accountability, right? Whatever it may be. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I feel like sometimes when people do go through their own trades, they're not really as thorough as it could be. And I don't really see the point in journaling if you're not going to be as thorough as you need to be. So, as you can see here, the first thing was after price started the week pushing up to this 4-hour POI, I was interested in selling from here. So I'm already showing you my initial thought leading into when price is getting into this area. Okay, and then the picture, as you can see here, we've got a 4-hour time frame, and we can see price pushing into this POI. So that's my first initial thought. That's the first initial thought of what I want to see potentially happen from this area. Okay, and then we're gonna go into the smaller time frame. So the 5-minute structure started to break out of this area. The first entry came at New York close, which is out of my window of opportunity. Okay, so again, these are just rules that I've set in place, right? So New York close, again, being from the UK, that's 9 p.m. So if the first entry is after 9 p.m, I'm okay with not taking the trade. Truthfully, I am. Like, if I'm not just here to take trades which are outside of what is part of my trading plan. So I'm also going to record that. That's important. The time that you're entering is very important, right? You need to record, if you're starting to see a repetition of when things are going in your favor. So whether it's the London session, your entries are great. Whether it's the New York session, your entries are great. Whether it's the Asian session, your entries are great. You want to have a log of what you're actually doing. Now, the entry came during the New York session out of the 30-minute eye candle area. Okay, so again, this is going to be the 5-minute time frame in terms of the Asian session. In terms of, we're seeing 8 o'clock here, 9 o'clock where we're seeing here. You can see the time at the bottom. So the entry came here. So at that time, I'm not taking the trade. That's okay. I'm okay with it. It's outside of the remit of when I want to actually enter, but I'm showing you the picture of what's actually occurring. Now, why this image is great is you can see the overall area where price is doing what you're anticipating it to do, but you're also then thinking about the time element and also the type of price action which is being shown. Now, why images like this are good to journal and record is that you're creating that photographic memory. Like, you may not realize it, but your brain takes a lot of pictures per second, right? So when you have this stuff and you have logs and logs and logs, months of data of your own trades and your own ability to actually spot what's going on, you start to remember the picture and how it looks. So imagine, right, if you don't have any of that. Let's just say you don't have that. Let's just say you only you journaled, but you only journaled with writing. Now, everyone is different. Some people can journal with writing and picture it in their brain, but some people need the photo. I'm one of those people. I need to see the photo in order to kind of learn from it and understand what I'm seeing, basically. So if you can write and picture things in your brain and do it that way, no problem. But for me, it's just added, there's layers to it, right? You just want to be as detailed as possible. Okay, so entry came during New York session out of a 30-minute eye candle area. I was targeting the daily lows, which had left liquidity resting. TP was hit during the UK interest rate decision. So I'm really including things during the day which are playing out, right? So I'm including where I'm trying to target. I'm including what actually occurred for it to hit the target. And all of these things matter. So if we go into this image, excuse me, we go into this image. So this is originally where that price had played out during the Asian session, started moving lower. And then we revisited this area here. We started to move lower again. Okay, and then we revisited one more time, and then we started to move lower again. So all of what we're seeing here, so the entries in terms of what we're seeing, and you know, as we start to move down lower, and then there's another entry here, and we move down lower, all of this being recorded, it sets you up for the next trade, which has similar factors in terms of maybe there's a news event pending, and you know, price action's already shown your willingness out of this area to start breaking down. All of this sets you up for next time to kind of speculate that, okay, there's a good probability the same thing happens that happened when I caught that trade last time. So again, it's just about repetition, guys, because if you don't do any of this, and you know, for the people that say journaling, I don't learn anything from journaling, you need to know what you're doing right, but you also need to build the belief in your trading strategy. And for me, if you're not going through this data, I don't know another way to build the belief. Some people are going to be like, yeah, results. But if you don't know what it is that you're seeing to get into the trade, then you should journal. Because you want to know what it is that you saw on the day, right? And journal about it. Not wait for time to progress and just forget, because you're going to forget about it. The amount of trades that you take per month, or let's say per quarter, right? You're not going to remember every trade that you take. So it's important to record this data so that you have the photographic memory starting to kick in. Okay? And you want to do that for every trade. I don't care if it's if it was a short trade, or, you know, those that are scalpers where you're taking maybe 20, 30 trades a week. If they're good trades, then you should be recording them. But if they're just, you know, I'm a day trader, so I'm going to do it in a manner which scalpers probably they'll probably say, yeah, journaling's not for me because they're taking too many trades. Fair enough, but I feel like you should still be journaling to learn the actual method of what it is that you're believing in for trade on a trade by trade basis, right? So again, US oil, right? Main area for the buy was off price playing into the 8-hour and fair value gap and I candle POI. The 15-minute time frame had then broken structure going into the morning. I placed a buy limit at the 15-minute eye candle we had after the break of structure. The trade went for 210 pips. Okay, so again, going through that, we can see price on the bigger time frame starting to change structure. We then had an area of interest again. Okay, another time frame here. So this is the same area in regards to price coming back down. You then see the shift of structure, retesting, and then so forth, right? So all of this, right, I say all of this to say that repetition, it can't be like, you can't learn to spot these things if you don't go through it. I don't know how you learn to spot these things and actually remember and really record it if you're not going through it. Okay, and when it comes to losses, right, how you record losses is by being open and honest about the reasons for taking the trade, right? And that's what's so good about journaling, and I'm going to touch on that, is that when you record the reasons for taking the trade, if it was garbage and you was really not following anything strategic or following anything of real strategy, you have to be honest about that. So that builds accountability in if you're lacking accountability, but that builds accountability to understand that actually I was doing some nonsense, right? Because if you cannot write down the reasons as to why you was taking that trade, you have to record what the reasons were. You have to actually record that the reasons were nonsense. I actually made them up in my head. I was disillusioned. I was FOMO. I wanted to revenge trade. I was revenge trading. I wanted to claim back the money. Like, you have to write all of this stuff. And you have to be open and honest about it. So I feel like a lot of people that don't journal trades, and especially the losses, is that they're not open and honest. Or maybe they're not really following a strategy. Or maybe there was no trading plan. I mean, they was just reacting off of candles. So I always say that without the losses, right, without learning from the mistakes of, you know, hopefully you're following a plan. But if you're not, you have to record that. But if you are following the plan and you take a loss, you then have to go and figure out, okay, was my stop loss too tight, or was it in an area that I shouldn't have put it in? Like, it didn't make sense for the trade to be, for the stop loss to be in that area. Did I get the bias wrong on the day? Like, was my bias actually wrong for the day? That can happen. These are all things that we can learn from and get better from, where it's like, okay, why did I get the bias wrong from the day? Was the market structure, did I misread market structure? Was it a news event which basically invalidated your whole idea? That's not a bad thing to record, because again, you're still learning to say, okay, the trade looked good until it didn't look good, and then the news kind of just wiped me out. And then also with the news event, was there actually an entry going the opposite way that I missed out on because I was too rigid in my bias, right? Because sometimes as traders, when we form a bias, it's difficult for us to break out or see the other way, or see it a different way. Okay, and how you actually get better from that is by understanding, okay, no, there was a setup the other opposite way, right? But it wasn't in line with my bias, so I didn't take it. But it's not about not taking it, it's about, could I spot the actual trade the opposite way? That's what journaling you get better at, by journaling about, by actually going back through the trades. Now, a lot of people say, you know, it's hindsight or buzzwords like that, where there's no actual real value in it. I disagree, because again, it's all about remembering and embracing that, okay, cool, this trade didn't play in my favor, or this trade did go in my favor, but it's getting familiar with that feeling of what I did right, what I did wrong. Okay, and again, without journaling, I just don't know how to do that. So another trade, right? Main reasons for this trade were based off higher time frame structure, maintaining bullishness. So I'm already saying, okay, the bullish structure is intact, right? Price on Monday swept the lows and shifted structure heading into the New York session. TP1 was achieved before price came back into range. Still bullish on this trade, but may head down lower first. So this must have been a trade that I recorded on the day at the start of the week, and then waited for it. So as we can see here, price swept the range, pushed up into this area, and then came back down one more time. Okay, so then this is that picture on a different time frame. I'm just taking, you know, screenshots of what it looks like on different time frames, right? And analyzing, okay, what was I actually seeing to believe in the trade. So as you can see here, price swept this area here. We had a retest of this imbalance after the structure had shifted, and then it moved upwards, and then before coming back down. Okay, so we had a spike overnight into this 4-hour eye candle where lots of equal highs were resting. Okay, 5 a.m. opens started by capturing the Asian highs and proceeded to break down lower. Took the entry off of the London open imbalance that was created after the break of structure. Price went to my TP for a 2.5 to 1, right? So all of this repetition, guys, the reason I'm trying to like let you into what I do to journal is that if you're not journaling at all, then think of all the information that you're just skipping on regarding your own data, not regarding someone else's trade, regarding your own data. You have to do this for trades you take. Okay, not just analyze on the day, try and hit the trade for a win or a loss, and then go about your week. Like, no, you have to do this for each trade that you take, because you will get better by doing it. As you can see here, we swept, we moved lower. We're now looking for a retest. You can see here, right? So again, smaller time frame area in terms of we retested that area. We started to break down, and then finally we're talking about the entries, right? The entry criteria. Okay, so without any of this, it's hard to know the mechanics to your strategy. It's hard to really understand what it is you're doing for every trade, because every trade you take should be similar reasons. Now, it's not going to be identical, but the reasons should still look and feel the same each time you're entering or taking a trade or whatever it may be, right? So journaling, right, some people may label it boring, but it's gratifying, right, when you understand and really get to the nitty-gritty of what your strategy is, the good points and the bad points, where they're not really bad points, you just things you need to improve on. Some of them could be psychological. It's not always your strategy that's wrong. Some of them, it could be how you done within the trade. Like, these are all things where you should look to analyze yourself. Like, really and truly, you should look to analyze yourself. So definitely be doing this, guys. Like, I'm a big advocate of journaling. For those that, you know, say they don't learn from journaling, I guarantee you're not being as thorough as you need to be, and you're probably not being as honest as you need to be as well. So let me know if you guys are journaling, right? What kind of helps you, what tips and tricks you've learned along the way in terms of things you learned about yourself when you was journaling, whether it be good or bad. I want you guys to understand where it is that you improved once you started journaling, right? And if you don't journal, let me know the reasons you don't journal, right? But let me know what good it is, right, in terms of you not journaling when you are taking a loss. Like, what do you learn from a loss if you don't record it and you don't actually go back through it? Because I don't see the benefit off of it, right? So make sure the reasons that you're actually taking the trade are repetitious reasons in terms of things that make sense according to your strategy, and you know, do it for a year, like at least a year. You want to have a year of results, good and bad, because I guarantee the next year you're going to learn from it. 100% you're going to learn from it. So it was just a video today, guys, to break down what you can do, software you can use. Link will be in the description to basically make a Notion account if you haven't got one already. And I look forward to hearing about you guys' journey in regards to journaling your trades. Okay, so thank you for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.